Hello! So for today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a pretty cool kind of psychedelic effect in Photoshop using two of your photos. So you're going to want to go find two photos in your Google Photos, one that has like a person that is the central focus. Maybe they're looking off to the side. You don't want them to be looking directly at you. And then one that we're going to use for a texture, so one that you're going to bring into the background and sort of blend both pictures together. So to highlight what I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and shut this down, and we are going to go ahead and create a new picture together. So let me click this off. Go ahead and select the Create New button. And then we're going to come over to the print section. And actually, we're going to go to the photo section. I'm going to need a landscape, so I think I'm going to select this one, 4x6. Make sure again that it's in the landscape, just so you know what you're getting into. And you can name this one Psychedelic Effect. I'm just going to put Psych Effect. And my last name. You can put your last name with Miles. So hit create. All right, so I've got this created. Now I'm going to open up the picture that I'm going to use as my the one that's like the main emphasis, the one that will be our foreground. So I'm going to open it. I saved it to my desktop already. It's going to be this kind of cool picture of my son that I took at the beach. He looks kind of crazy, but I thought that could be really funny with this effect. So I'm going to click on this background image, and I am going to unlock it so that I can take it over to my other file. So I'm just going to drag it and drop it. Ben looks pretty crazy here. Poor guy. Hopefully he never sees this tutorial because he would be mad. He hates pictures of himself. Anyway, here I'm just going to drop it right there and hit enter just so that it places it. And I'm going to go ahead with this one. And I'm going to, making sure that this layer is selected, create a new adjustment layer. And I'm going to select something on the bottom here, this gradient map option, gradient map. Okay, so I'm going to click to kind of change some of the gradients up. Click right up here. And I am going to click on this little gear right here to bring up a menu. And I'm going to hit spectrums. It's okay. Actually, I'm going to hit append, so it adds it to the ones that I already had there. And then I'm going to select on the one I want. I think kind of going to choose like which colors I think will look the best. See Ben's crazy face right in there. And you can go through all of them if you want. I think that I like this one right here. So I'm going to select that and then hit OK. Now I'm going to create a new adjustment layer. So again, I'm just going to be right where I am and go down here, new adjustment layer, and select vibrance. And this will let me kind of change the vibrance of the colors that are coming through and the amount of color, like how much it's saturated with color. So you can mess with that until it looks exactly like you would want it to. Okay. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. So I've got my vibrance at plus 75 and my saturation at plus 20. But again, you're just going to make sure that that looks how you want it to look. Now I'm going to add the texture. So I'm going to open up the photo that I picked out for this, and I chose one of the beach just because we're at the beach. It's kind of crazy at the beach. Thought it'd be kind of funky. I'm going to unlock this layer by selecting the lock. Now I'm going to come over here, make sure my move tool is selected by hitting V or selecting it right off the tool panel. I'm just going to drag it over here. Why did that not work for me? Let me go back over. I'm just going to drag it. I guess I need to make sure that I get it into the correct file. All right, so I'm going to drag it right here, let it down. Ooh. I'm going to name this one texture, because that's what this is going to really be, as a texture layer. So now that I've got all of these things like created, I can go into the blend mode and just start changing things so that both pictures kind of come together how you would like them to. One that's good is soft light, because it lets more of the light come through. That looks neat. But feel free to mess with and play with all of the different options here for blending, because you want it to look just how you want it to be. You can also change the opacity. So for example, maybe I like, a really good example would probably be color dodge. So I'm going to select color dodge. If I want to turn down the opacity, turn it down to say 25%, you can see how it is actually on here, but it's a lot less of an effect. So here, let me go up from a 25%. Let's turn it up. You can see how it'll affect everything. And there's really an art to going through and finding just the right exact menus that you want. That's kind of the art of Photoshop. I think this is a cool picture, so I'm going to put mine, I'm kind of I like soft light, but I'm going to change the opacity. I think maybe it needs a little bit more of the waves coming through. Anyway, this is how you do that cool effect. Ooh, darken. That looks really neat. All right, but you can adjust the blend mode until it's exactly how you want it to be, and then go ahead and save it. I'm going to hit File and Save As. I'm going to save this to my Creative Cloud files, but again, if you want to save it to your desktop for easy access, that's fine too. But the downside of doing that is that you never know who's going to be on your computer and if they're going to clean up the desktop and you're going to miss your file. But anyway, that's how you create that kind of psychedelic effect. Shout out to my son Ben, who did not probably want to be used as an example, but nevertheless, he was. Thanks, guys.